her tell it. People on the streets say Sabrina speaks. Tune into the show, she will let you know. Tell all your friends and family. Real talk is no joke. You get the news straight up from grassroots and concerns. You can hear with some people gone. So tell all your friends to tune in to the
Good evening,
show.
Cayman. I'm Sabrina Turner, and welcome to Sabrina Speaks, your daily dose of clarity, truth, and community insights. Every weekday from 5 to 6:30 p.m., we're tackling the issues that affect you, from national headlines to grassroots concerns. Whether you're in traffic or winding down your day, this is your chance to hear it straight and speak your truth. So buckle up, Cayman. We're not holding back.
This is the show. We gotta let you know. Now we got to go.
And now, here's Sabrina.
Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome, one and all, and to all of you bad mind people who just log on early and decide to call me 1 minute before I go live. Yeah, you are talking to you. You know exactly who I'm talking to. Welcome to another episode of Sabrina Speaks, Voices of the Islands, Conversations for the World, and the podcast where voices rise, stories unfold, and inspiration takes center stage. I am Sabrina, and it's so good to be back with you on this Tuesday afternoon. Yes, we are definitely closing the month of March here in OMG. Look how quickly time is flying. Yes, for those of you just joining me, maybe it's your first time. Maybe you've heard it from a friend. I am Sabrina, and you are in the right place, where community matters, where we're elevating talk, we grow, we inspire, we motivate, we encourage, and we learn together. Yes, it is good to be back with you for this very special episode of Sabrina Speaks. Even though yesterday we were supposed to talk about one thing, but that's what I love with you guys. We came off I-95 like you would not believe it yesterday, but I'm really happy for the feedback. Please don't forget to like, share, follow, and subscribe, and comment in the link below to let me know where you're streaming us live from today. To all of our people in the UK, even my Australian crew, Jamaica as well, Nicaragua, Belize, Honduras, Rotan, yes. Welcome, one and all. I see you. Thank you for the love that you're sharing with us, and definitely from all of the districts here at home, where I am so proud to call Cayman home. Thank you to my loyal followers, subscribers, motivators, supporters, you name it, we thank you. From the east of Cayman Brac to the tip of Little Cayman to the far northwest point of West Bay, it's good to be back with you this evening. Yes, and this is a special show. Yes, I know. I see you commenting. You know exactly who I was talking to, but it's good to be back with you. As I said, not so sure if I may steal a little couple minutes today. Because it's that important for this episode of Sabrina Speaks. And of course, 345-936-8255 is the number to call. Be a part of this conversation. May take you back into a little memory a little bit. And we want to hear, maybe there's some things that I missed out. I don't know. Preparing for today's show did take a lot of work, like it always does, because I wanted to make sure I deliver on point. But yeah, going back in time is something. And yes, to every woman listening across these three islands throughout Grand Cayman, Cayman Brac, Little Cayman, by far the world, yes, the Caribbean, tonight, March the 31st, 2026, is indeed the last day of honoring Women Month. Yes, and that has been something that has been going on around the world. But hear me good. Tonight, we're not just closing a month. We're going to open a vault. Yes, a vault of memory, maybe even a vault of truth. and a vault of women who built this nation long before the world ever knew our name. Definitely before mine. And for 31 days, we've celebrated. But tonight, we trace some of the DNA of Cayman and strand by strand, we're going to actually dissect it as much as I can. Going back to women who carried this country in their arms when men were at sea, and back to women that held the land, the children, the cattle, the rope, the shop, the beauty salons, those restaurants. Yes, community. And then we bring it right back to today. Like I said, 345-936-8255 is the number to call to be a part of this discussion this evening, because you're always welcome. And I love to get your feedback. And if there's anything that comes to mind that, Sabrina, hey, I remember this. I remember this woman. Do you remember her? And yeah, I want you to be a part of this discussion. But please remember, the content you're about to hear, including any discussions or opinions from myself, guests, and our participants, is intended solely for general informational and entertainment purposes. It's not a substitute for professional legal, medical, or financial advice. So I encourage you to consult with a qualified professional for your specific concerns. Bridge Media Limited and all its affiliates disclaims all liability for any decisions or actions taken in reliance on the information presented. Yes, yes, yes. And we're just going to get straight to it as I see you all commenting. I love it. I love it. I love it. Let's see what's going on with the weather, because I know some of you are already out there braving the elements. And some of you are fueling up those boats or topping it up again because you've been out on the high seas fishing. Yeah, I can smell it now. Don't worry. Thursday night, I go and find some campsite to crash. Kinda. Yeah, but I'm looking for fishing fritters. Compliments of our friends over there at the Cayman Islands National Weather Service. Here is the forecast for tonight and into tomorrow. The synopsis calls for moderate to fresh winds and moderate to rough seas are expected, especially across the eastern and northern coast as the pressure gradient begins to gradually weaken over the Northwest Caribbean. A small craft advisory is in effect, and moisture embedded within the low-level wind flow can produce a few showers for the next few days. Now, radar imagery shows isolated showers mainly south, drifting towards the west. The forecast for tonight calls for partly cloudy skies with a 20% chance of showers. Temperatures will fall near the mid-70s. Winds will be east to northeast, 10 to 15 knots with higher gusts. Seas will be moderate to rough with wave heights of 4 to 6 feet, and a small craft advisory is in effect. Small craft should exercise caution over open waters, especially along the north and east coast. Within the reef and sheltered areas, conditions are generally less severe, but operators should continue to exercise discretion as localized choppy conditions may still develop. The forecast for tomorrow is calling for partly cloudy skies with a 30% chance of showers. Temperatures will rise near the mid-80s. Winds will be easterly, 10 to 15 knots with higher gusts. Seas will be moderate to rough with wave heights of 4 to 6 feet. A small craft advisory will be in effect, and small craft again should exercise caution over open waters, especially along the north and east coast. There will be a high tide this evening at 9:08, a low tide at 3:09 a.m. Another high tide is expected at 8:49 tomorrow morning. The sun will set this evening at 6:38, and sun will rise tomorrow morning at 6:21. Now, the outlook is calling for moderate to fresh winds with moderate seas by Thursday, and in which small craft advisory is expected to be continued thereafter. Now, there you have it. Let's thank our friends from over there at the National Weather Service, keeping us up to date. And I know y'all are going to be paying attention to that for this weekend. Jimbo, yeah, hi, Melita. I hear me, Melita. Melita's calling my name. I'm going to see you tomorrow, at some point in time, Melita. Connie Bonnie, Jimbo, we send our love for Jimbo as usual. Let us take our time right now before getting into the core of today's topic, and we put the focus and spotlight as we dedicate it to our women in our society. Yes. Let's start with local news, and I'll acknowledge all of you as you keep on coming in and getting settled for this evening's discussion. Starting out with local news making our headlines this evening. Yes, landfill fire caused by improper battery disposal. The Department of Environmental Health is urging the public to stop throwing batteries into regular household garbage after a fire broke out at the Georgetown landfill. Preliminary assessments show the blaze was likely sparked by a single improperly discarded battery, which ignited when crushed inside mixed waste. Fire crews responded quickly and contained the fire with no threat to nearby communities. Officials warned that the lithium-ion batteries can easily ignite under pressure and must be recycled using the battery collection tubes located at all major supermarkets. Proper disposal protects the public, the environment, and emergency responders as well. Other local news. Cayman's spent conviction law is now under formal review following a request from Cabinet. The Law Reform Commission says that the current legislation is cumbersome, inconsistent, and difficult to administer, creating barriers for people trying to rebuild their lives after serving their sentences. The commission notes that outdated rules can limit employment, licensing, and rehabilitation opportunities, increasing the risk of reoffending. New streamlined automatic system is being recommended where convictions become spent after a clear crime-free period. Now, the public is invited to submit feedback as part of the nation's consultation process. More on local news this evening. The Cayman Islands Regiment is under new leadership. Yes, the Cayman Islands Regiment is officially transitioning to new leadership as of March 26, when Lieutenant Colonel Roger Carter retires after 36 years of military service. At the formal handover ceremony, command was passed to Major Graham Muir, who has been promoted to lieutenant colonel, and by the governor. Muir has served as regiment's training and operation officer since January 2024 and brings more than 20 years of military experience, including 17 years in the British Army. Now, officials says the change is part of long-term succession planning aimed at building a Caymanian-led command structure supported by recent promotions of Caymanian officers Tyler Lawson and Cassandra Jason, and to the rank of captain. WORC is actually giving you a gentle reminder. Yes, Workforce Opportunity and Residency Cayman is reminding the public that not to let Easter travel or holiday plans slow down your applications. Yes, with longer wait times expected over the weekend, Easter weekend, physical. Good. Can you go on hold? I'm going to put you on hold for a second.
Good evening.
I'm going to put you on hold for a second.
Okay.
Let me call you back.
All right then. Thanks.
With longer wait times expected over the Easter weekend and physical offices closed as of April 30th and 6th, WORC is encouraging customers to use its online portal, which remains available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Now, officials say the platform allows you to submit applications anytime from anywhere, keeping your process moving, even while offices are closed. WORC wishes the community to be safe and relaxing over the Easter weekend, and normal working hours will resume on Tuesday, April 7th. Now, let's turning our focus over to regional and international news this evening. Yes, Jamaica has made regional history with the launch of the first ever NAR Green Designation course in English-speaking Caribbean. The Realtors Association of Jamaica is in partnership with the U.S. National Association of Realtors, announced the program during a high-level sustainability forum in Kingston. Beginning in June, the 2-day course will train realtors and industry professionals in energy-efficient, climate-smart building standards, though only through licensed realtors will earn official designation. Now, the RAJ, President Gabrielle Gilpin Hudson, says the initiative marks the association's 60th anniversary and comes at a critical time as Jamaica rebuilds after Hurricane Melissa and faces rapid development across the island. In other regional news making today's headlines, at least 70 people have been killed and dozens more injured as gang attacks continue to escalate across Haiti. Rights group says the Grind Griff gang launched coordinated assaults from late Saturday into Monday, burning homes and shooting civilians as they fled. Human rights organization estimates up to 6,000 people have been displaced, far higher than initial police reports. Now, the United Nations says the death toll likely falls between 10 to 80 and is calling for a full investigation. Officials warns that the violence reflects Haiti's deepening security collapse, with gangs expanding beyond Port-au-Prince into rural communities. And turning our attention now over to St. Vincent. Yes. St. Vincent and the Grenadines has launched a new national cost of living task force as global economic pressures continue to rise. Now, the initiative approved by Cabinet is designed to protect citizens from inflation driven by soaring oil prices and supply chains disruptions linked to the Middle East conflict. Now, the task force brings together government ministries, labor unions, the private sector, and key agencies like Customs and Port Authority. Now, its mandate includes advising and targeting tax relief, exploring alternative food source through CARICOM partners, and expanding renewable energy cooperation to reduce utility costs. Now, officials also say that the goal is long-term sustainability and immediate release for Vincentians. Yes, there we have it. And more, guess what? Inter-Caribbean Airways is expanding its flight schedules to Grenada as demand surges ahead of Spice Mass 2026. Now, the airlines has added extra seat capacity to key regional routes to accommodate the thousands of travelers expected to the island's biggest cultural celebration. Now, Spice Mass runs from August 1st to the 11th, with major events including Juve, Monday Night Mass, and the Parade of Bands. Inter-Caribbean says that the increased service will improve regional connectivity and make it easier for visitors from across the Caribbean to attend. Now, tourism officials are welcoming the move, calling it a major boost for Grenada's festival economy. Yes. And guess what? Turning our attention to the United States. A federal judge in Washington has ordered an immediate halt to President Donald Trump's $400 million White House ballroom project, ruling that the administration began construction without the required approval from Congress. Now, Judge Richard Leon said no statute gives the presidents the authority to demolish the historic East Wing or build a new 90,000 square feet ballroom without proper review. The injunction follows a lawsuit filed by the National Trust for Historic Preservation, which argued that federal procedures were bypassed. Now, the ruling takes effect in 14 days to allow for appeal, but for now, a ballroom construction must stop until Congress authorizes the project. And keeping our attention into the U.S., the U.S. Army has suspended 4 crew members after Apache helicopters were filmed flying unusually low near musician Kid Rock's Nashville area home over the weekend. Now, videos posted by Kid Rock showed the aircraft hovering beside his swimming pool, prompting an immediate administrative investigation. Army officials says the review will determine whether the crews violated FAA rules, aviation safety protocols, or mission approval requirements. Now, the helicopters assigned to the 101's 1st Airborne Division of Fort Campbell were reportedly on a training routine, though their proximity to both the home and nearby No King's protest has drawn public scrutiny. The Army says it takes unauthorized or unsafe flight operations very seriously, and further actions may follow. Wrapping up the news segment for today, President Donald Trump has issued a sharp warning to the United Kingdom and other U.S. allies, telling them to get your own oil as tensions escalate over the Iran conflict. In a post on Truth Social, Trump criticized Britain for refusing to join U.S.-Israel military operations and said, America won't be there to help you anymore. He urged allies to secure the Strait of Hormuz themselves, adding they should learn how to fight and even take the oil if necessary. The comments come as Iran's blockade of the strait continues to push global fuel price higher, hitting UK consumers especially hard. And to wrap up, we're going to take our attention over to, our business roundup for today. Global markets rallied today as investors reacted to reports that President Donald Trump may be preparing to wind down the Iran conflict, a move that immediately boosted confidence on Wall Street. Now, the Dow Jones jumped more than 600 points, and the S&P 500 climbed over 1.6%, and the NASDAQ surged more than 2%, led by strong gains in tech stocks. Oil prices remained volatile, but stayed above $103 per barrel, while gold spiked sharply as investors continued hedging against geopolitical risks. And in Asia, markets were mixed, and Thailand SET index closed slightly lower amid quarter end rebalancing. That ends today's all your stocks, market updates, regional, international, and local news for today, right here on Sabrina Speaks. Yes. Aliano, what are you doing? I see you through the corner of my eyes. Happy birthday to anybody who's celebrating a birthday. And definitely happy anniversary as well to all of you who are celebrating milestones together. And of course, our thoughts and prayers go out to all of those who may be mourning the loss of a loved one. Good evening, Marshall. How are you, my sweet? What are you up to? Keeping it dry today? You're behaving today. I think that's what you're doing, you brute. But it's good to have you in the house as usual. Yeah, as we do this special segment of Sabrina Speaks here today, just lining up some of my other images because I got something I want to share with you today. Marking this special episode of Sabrina Speaks. Yes, in an email that I received on Friday, the 27th. Donnie Don is in the house. Hello, my dear. It's good to have you. Carol as well, misbehaving as usual. Connie Lynn, Connie Bonnie. Good evening, Auntie Sabrina, a kinder, gentler world, and the crew. Miss Rose, how you doing? I hope all is well with you. Damian Henry is checking in. Let's see what words he has for us today. Good evening, all. Your unique perspective and experiences are invaluable. Use them to drive change and innovation in whatever you do. Thank you very much for keeping us on point and definitely with those kind words of inspiration each day. We appreciate it very much. Miss Melita, I'm going to call you back in a sec. Good evening to you. Connie Lynn, Jimbo. Angela Douglas also. Good evening, everyone is your comment. Miss Dorothy as well. Florida still. Good to have you with us. Hey, Miss Ethel, how are you? Hope you're enjoying the evening. Or are you on some campsite already? Yes, beautiful lies, ugly truth. Hello to you, my friend. Aliano, good evening. You are something else. And a Trump lover also. Oh, Lord, whatever. I just read the news. Rose Banks, 1429. We hear you speaking, but your picture is below your screen while you're speaking. Yeah, it's because I have different, I don't know how it is. Not so sure. Whatever it is you're watching on. Maybe you got to change from horizontal to vertical, Miss Rose. Okay? You got the choice right there. Yeah, you better behave yourself. Barbara G, good evening. How are you, my friend? Been a while. Don, good evening. Yes. Aliano, Praying for a full recovery, Aliano. Praying for a full recovery for Yabo. Yeah, give us an update, Aliano. How's things coming? Hope you're doing well. Like I said, 345-936-8255 is the number to call to be a part of this discussion. And what we're putting our spotlight on this evening is we're honoring Women Month, as it is the last day of the month of March. And we know we have been doing that all month. It has been globally recognized. And, we just want to take a moment to, instead of just having it with everything crammed in as what we were seeing, hard to get people booked and all that good stuff, I just said we're going to dedicate this evening for it. And yeah, that's what we're going to do today. So if part of what I've prepared for you brings back a memory, or you want to share something, a memory, by all means, feel free to comment below. Or, like I said, you can call in and be a part of the live discussion. You can even WhatsApp me as well, so that you can be a part of this community. The only thing I ask for is that you remain respectful to avoid being booted out. And we don't like doing that. We just want people to be respectful, and you're all entitled to your opinions here, and all voices matter. But we want you to be respectful here in this space as we continue to build, love, and care for one another in this space. Yes, Avril, as good evening to you as well. Welcome, welcome, welcome. All of you all that are coming, remember to tell your friends and family, share the link. You're still healing. Anyone got some alien tech in the basement that can heal my foot? Oh, I don't know. Oh, Aliano. Just make sure you take care of yourself, huh? Just make sure. And I hope you're following your diet. Aliano. You making sure you following your diet? I hope so. Let me just go here and grab this for us so that we can get going here. All right. Let's get started with today's episode of Sabrina Speaks, and I think it was only fitting I share an email that was with you. Yes, live. Oh, live, very live. We're here until 7. Maybe I'll steal a couple minutes. Maybe if I'm allowed, steal a couple minutes this evening as we honor women today. But it's good to have you, Jeremy. Nevertheless, yes, we are live Monday to Friday. Of course, not this Good Friday, and no public holidays, from 5 until 7. And you're free to join in, participate, of course. On Friday, the 27th of March, I got diet. What's that? Oh, you feeling it now, you brute? You better pay attention. You better take care of yourself. We got to send you lots of loves and prayers, but yeah, we're here for you. I got an email on Friday the 27th, and I'm just going to read it right now. Not the email, but the attachment. And it will all make sense as I read it. It's going to take a couple minutes, and it's an honor, and it aligns quite nicely with today's episode. And how it was laid out is why I'm going to give it its time, its recognition, because the author is definitely one of those who is a part of the legacy for creating a space and is a part of history. Okay, I will share it with you as I read along. So please bear with me, and you can zoom in on however it is you're watching. If you're watching from a device, you can zoom in as well. Here, let's go. Woman Who Dared: The Journey to Represent Women in the Cayman Islands. In honor of Women's International Month, this reflection traces the journey of Caymanian women in public life, from the petitioners who demanded the right to vote, to the early candidates, to the 15 women who served in the legislature. Hello, Lita.
Hi.
Hi.
I just want to make sure you play that video. I mean, because of the topic. I sent you a video.
Okay, as long as I can get it to upload in time.
Yeah, 'cause
All right.
it's so important to know from where we're coming from.
That's right.
As
Thank you.
women, as women of the island. Okay?
No worries. I'll do my best to upload it. Okay.
All right.
Thank
It's
you,
so
my sweet.
important. A lot of us probably didn't see this one, but yeah.
All right. I got it in the background. Once it's
right,
uploaded, then I'll
thanks.
think. Thank you.
Okay, bye.
From the petitioners who demanded the right to vote, to the early candidates, to the 15 women who have served in the legislature and parliament, women who dared, is a tribute to their courage, their service, and the legacy they created for future generations. As the month closes, I honor the long journey that brought Caymanian women into political life, a journey built on courage, persistence, and the belief that women deserve a voice in shaping their country. By Lucille Seymour, MBE, BEM, JP on PhD Humanities. The first door opens. More than 300 women signed the petition for the right to vote, led by Miss Georgette and her committee of 24. They walked from home to home, gathering signatures with quiet determination. Their strength was not new. Caymanian women had long held families together, guided communities, and carried this country through hardship. Leadership was already in their bones, in their spirit, and in their genes. The first women who dared to run. Then came the early women who stepped forward to run for office at a time when society did not expect them to lead. Among them was national hero, Miss Francine Jackson, whose courage inspired many. These women ran without guarantees. They ran knowing they might lose. At that time, only one woman, Honorable Evelyn Wood, had ever won a contested seat. Miss Annie Hulda Bodden, though a towering figure, had been appointed, not elected. Victory for women was rare, yet these early candidates stepped forward anyway. Their resilience pushed boundaries and encouraged the next generation to step forward, honoring the women who ran and did not win. Today, I honor not only the women who succeeded, but also the women who ran and did not win. Some ran once, some ran twice. They ran with courage and persistence, paving the way for those who would follow. Their names may not appear on official lists, but their courage softens the ground that normalized women on the ballot. This is what women must do. We must not give up. The 15 who entered Parliament. Then came the 15 of us who entered the legislature and Parliament. We did not merely run for office, we stepped forward and carried the weight of representation. 3 of us have since gone on to eternal rest, leaving legacies woven into our national story. We are the women who carried the weight of representation so others may walk with ownership. We entered a house not originally built with us in mind, and we made it our own. A call to action for 2029 and beyond. We look towards the 2029 general election. We must ensure the Commonwealth observers never again highlight gender inequality in our parliament. A country as advanced as ours must also advance in representation. The newly formed Women's Parliamentary Caucus has a vital role to play in ensuring that all genders have a fair and genuine chance to serve. The doors have been opened by those who came before us. Now it's our duty to keep them open wide. A message to the women of the 21st century, to the young women of today. Strength is already in your genes. It is the same strength that carried Caymanian women through the Southwell years, the same strength that gathered over 300 signatures for the vote, and the same strength that pushed the early women to run when no one expected them to. Now it's your turn. Equality in Parliament is not something to consider someday. It is your enabled right. Walk through the doors that have been opened for you. Walk with confidence. Walk knowing you come from women who dared. The lot fell to us, and we answer the call. And on this last page, depicted so nicely, are women who dared, the 15 who entered politics. Miss Annie Hulda Bodden, OBE, National Hero, 1961-1984 MLA. Honorable Mary Evelyn Wood, National Hero, 1962-1965 MLA. Miss Esterline Ebanks, 1976-1980 MLA. Mistress Daphne Orett, 1984-1987 MLA. Mistress Berna Thompson Cummings, MBE, 1992-1996 MLA. The Honorable Edna Moyle, OBE, JP, 1992-2009 MLA, 2005-2009 Speaker. Miss Heather Bodden, OCI, Cert Honor, JP, 1995-2000 MLA, 2021 to present MP. Honorable Juliana O'Connor Conley, JP, 1996 to present MLA, MP, 2012 to 2013, 2023 to 25 Premier, 2001 to 2003, 2013 to 2017 Speaker, 2009, 2012, 2023 Deputy Premier. Ms. Lucille Seymour, MBE, BEM, JP Honor, PhD Humanities, 2005 to 2009 MLA. Honorable Tara Rivers, JP, 2013 to 2021 MLA. Ms. Barbara Connolly, JP, 2017 to 2025 MP, 2017 to 2025 Deputy Speaker. Ms. Sabrina Turner, 2021 to 2025 MP. Honorable Catherine A. Ebanks Wilkes, 2021 to present MP, 2021 to 2022 Deputy Speaker, 2022 to 2023 Speaker. Honorable Perlina McGall Lumsden, JP, 2025 to present MP, 2025 present Deputy Speaker. And Miss Julie J.T. Hunter, JP, 2025 to present Member of Parliament. I want to take this opportunity to thank Miss Lucille for putting this together, for allowing her, or me, she shared it with me, and to share with the public. Knowing all of you who know Miss Lucille, she is a woman of character. She loves to dance, and she does not miss a moment to remind you exactly your role in society when it comes to that of a female. Ladies and gentlemen, these are the women who made it into an era, a field, a room, an environment that is male dominated. But today's show is also going to highlight those who continue to actually make their way in our society. But I wanted to open this episode, this discussion, with this tribute, I must say, to women that, of course, our author, Miss Lucille Seymour, took the time to share with us. And I thank her for sharing this with me. And it was an honor for me to share with you as well. 345-936-8255. Melita, I'm still working on this. So it will take a while because it's pretty big. So please bear with me. So as we continue to get to learn more about what is here today, I want to just get straight into it, go back into history and just come forward, because women are still trailblazers, not only here in the Cayman Islands, but around the world. But today we put the spotlight on our very own women. On another episode, I still had said, I said that I didn't understand where this whole celebration thing came from, where it actually looked like a month, but I think internationally, this has been taken over by storm. And back, based on my research, back in 1999 was when Honoring Women Month was officially launched. And it was launched here in the Cayman Islands as a national initiative spearheaded by Women Resources Center, and it is now known as the Family Resource Center. I shared with you as well, but for emphasis, Governor John Owen gave the blessing, but made no mistake, it was Cayman women who gave it purpose. And this is why this video that Melita has shared with us is so important. And pretty much people will say, well, why an entire month? Because one day, March 8th, as it is significantly known on the international calendars, that's International Women's Day. But that could never hold the weight of the Caymanian stories. No, it could not. Because Cayman needed more than just a day. More than just a moment. They needed a movement. And Honoring Women Month became that moment, that a space to talk about gender equality, domestic violence, leadership, education, pay equity, and even the invisible, labor that women carry every day. And you go back into history, as so nicely shared with us, which is why I thought that pretty much set the tone and set the stage for today's conversation. When you look back to the 1984 petition, that was the first roar of women. Yes. Long before 1999, Caymanian women were already fighting for their rightful place. And back in you can go back as far as 1948. Picture it, right here in our capital, Georgetown, our now capital. 24 Caymanian women, bold, unafraid, obviously visionaries, educated, signed a petition to the commissioner then, and they wrote it clear, unwavering language, that they found nothing in the Constitution that denied them, women, or denied females, the fundamental human right to take part in decision of who governs this country. Yes. Now, 24 signatures, 24 voices, 24 women who refused to be silent. And that petition, my friends, was the first crack in the wall, not a ceiling. The first spark, the first roar. Yes, the first roar. And the women who held our islands together, that tapestry woven, the foundation, the shoulders, describe it how you may want to. The fact still remains that while our men were off at sea, months, sometimes years at a time, who kept Cayman alive? Yes, it was our women. Yeah, our women. And women who ran the households, women who raised their children, women who managed the farms and the shops and, that thatch rope industry. Women who kept the community breathing, and women who held our three islands steady like the iron shore pretty much keeps back those waves. And this, my friends, this is the Cayman we inherit. A Cayman that was built on the backs, as Miss Lucille stated, of women whose names may never, ever know, but those fingerprints are in every inch of this place we call home. So at the end of the day, this episode, we honor them. We honor the pioneers, the midwives, the teachers, the nurses, the activists, the politicians, the businesswomen, the mothers, the daughters, the sisters, the aunties. Yes, the foremothers as well. Yeah. And I'm hoping that we get your feedback as well, so that we can call those names, some of which have already been called, take you back a little bit down memory lane as well, as we honor those who built our community. Yes, we are going to do that, because when I look at, even from where I got my start in nursing, I kept hearing some stories about, Miss Pinky Bush. Anybody remembers Miss Pinky? This goes back to days when there were no air conditioning. We can go back to days where, clinics, there were no paved roads. I can still see the dust right now, certain parts of West Bay, because the 7 Mile Beach Road, because both sides of the roads were not finished. There was not as much development. Cocoa plum trees lined both sides of the roads. But those days were when healing came, from the land, from the hands, from the heart. Yeah. And just like that, starting off my career in nursing, there were women who delivered babies by lantern. Yeah, in certain homes. There were women who mixed bush medicines with prayer. And there were women who walked miles, sometimes barefooted, because somebody's child had a fever, or someone's husband had a wound, or somebody's mother was in labor. Yes. One of these women, who was responsible for keeping us alive, is none other than a legend nurse, Miss Pinky Bush. Yes. In the center of this legacy stands that one name that spans across generation, Nurse Pinky. And if Cayman had a Mount, let's say, Rushmore of women, I feel with some of the nurses, how she did her nursing and rendered care in her own way, she would be carved right there on that iron shore. Yes, she would. I will in a minute. Oh, not the petition. I don't have the names for the petition. It was those who served in Parliament. Picture a small town where big spirit, riding horseback and all that sort of stuff, and sometimes nothing more than cloth, herbs, and courage, really. Miss Pinky delivered babies in every kind of weather. She tended to wounds with steady hands. She comforted families with a voice. And she was kind of rough too. One story that comes back to mind, having been a nurse myself, is that there was somebody came into, somebody had like a pebble into their nose, and they were there trying to get this thing out of this kid's nose. And if there's somebody listening to me that knows the story, I'm quite sure, feel free to comment or WhatsApp 9368255. But everybody was there going around panicking. This child with this thing in the nostril and couldn't get it cleared and da 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 da. All Miss Pinky, I hear, and I'm reiterating the story that I heard. She came and she's almost like said, move, excuse me, like, what am I making all of this fuss for? And she had in her hand black pepper. And all she did was blow, I start to be corrected, blow that black pepper in the child's face. Guess what? What black pepper do? Make you sneeze. Out comes the foreign object. In her nice, calm way, her job there was done. It was dislodged. That, my friends, is one of many, many stories. But that one resonated with me, that I heard of some of the things Miss Pinky Bush did. And yes, you know, she was really the bridge between the old ways and the new world of modern nursing. Yeah, good old black pepper. And the kid sneezed, and that foreign object in the nostril bloop, came right out. And that's bridging. Some would say, well, Christ, our common sense. Oh, you know, but she just came her calm way, and she just owned the space, blew that black pepper into that child's face. And the child sneezed, and it was dislodged. Mm-hmm. So here it is. She didn't do it for the recognition either. That was actually a calling. Yes. She didn't do it for any applause. She just got the job done. She knew that because Cayman needed her, Miss Pinky showed up. So at the end of the day, you know, there are lots more. We got to Cridlin, who delivered so much babies, became a part of us right here. Dr. McIntyre, even though she's not a child of the soil, she is a part of us. Yes. We got the likes of nurses, like those are doctors. Sister Henriquez, his Hyacinth Rose. Yeah. We got all of those people that we can go way back. Mm-hmm. But Nurse Pinky wasn't alone, you know. I called a few names. Cayman was full of women like her, midwives who knew how to turn a breech baby, yeah, without all the latest apparatus. Women who knew which leaf to cook for a fever and which bark soothe the cough. Yes. Which tea even settled the stomach. And women who learned from their mothers, who learned from their grandmothers, and who learned from the land itself. Now, these women were our first healthcare system. They were part of who made that up. Our first line of defense, might I have you, our first responders, even if they did it barefoot. Our first comfort. Yes. Yes, Nurse Olive, as well. Yeah. Yeah. And many of them never had a title, never had a certificate, never even had a babe, had a salary those days, but they had knowledge and deep, deep, deep ancestral life-saving knowledge. Now that's a gift. Yes, Beautiful Lies, Ugly Truth says, remember Miss Leela Yates, 1899 to 1996, was a pioneer nurse and midwife from the Cayman Islands. She had delivered more than 1,000 babies. She went to the church by houses, yes, and in town Peace Chapel. Thank you for sharing that with us. Yes. Miss Sabrina, all that was said about women is so true and is exactly right. Sabrina, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yes, I'm just delivering it because this is our moment. And I said I would have dedicated today's show to exactly that. Go to the back of the room, TD. We'll move your bobo. Oi, I hear you. I hear you. I hear you. Thank you, Belita. You the whip. And at the end of the day, we really need to look at that part of it. And while we're talking about even women who heal the body, we must talk about those women who held the economy together as well, who actually stepped out and became entrepreneurs. Because Cayman's early economy, let's tell the truth, it was a matriarchal economy. Yeah, because it was dominated by females. When the men were off to sea, sometimes for years, again, the women kept this country running. The women who managed the cattle, women who cut, who plaited, who thatched rope, and those who was shipped across the Caribbean as well, and some chosen to be with their partners, mind you. But those who stayed back were women who ran shops, like Miss Maudie, Miss Lucy and Mommy. Yes. Remember Miss Carita? Remember all of those restaurants? We had Miss Hyacinth. We had all of them. Godfrey's, Miss Janice. Now, I can go back only so far because I'm trying to share what I have versus what I found. But I'm quite sure there were other stores within your communities that you can remember that were held together by women. Yes. Women who kept the accounts, women who raised the children, women who kept their family farms alive and made sure that the family survived until the next ship came. Yes. Miss Carita, Miss Sheila Thompson, talking about restaurants. You remember Leda back in the day with the hair salon? We're going back. Leda's Beauty Salon, Miss Nettie, right there on Elgin Avenue. Like I said, Miss Janice Godfrey, Miss Hazel Fudge. Yeah. All of them. We got Miss Grace down the back, Miss Grace Nicholas, that used to cook in the kitchen of the hospital. These are all people. And I'm quite sure if you can go further back, there's so much rich history. For those who say we don't have culture, get to the back of the room. We just don't highlight it enough. Now, these women didn't just hold things together. They built the foundation of Cayman's economy. Yes. And when you talk about even the thatch rope, let's go there. Because that thatch rope wasn't just rope. It was actually survival. And our women harvested that thatch. Our women dried it. They plaited it. Our women twisted it into ropes strong enough to anchor ships. Put that into perspective. Now just imagine Caymanian women sitting under a tree or along the shoreline under some grape trees, plaiting rope that would hold vessels steady in foreign waters. Yes, that's the definition of strength. There was no Google. There was no smartphones, as Melita said. There was no internet. This was a God-given talent. Yes. And the same women who raised a nation. That's exactly what they are. They raised a nation. My granduncle had cows, but every day, twice a day, his wife carried them down the grass piece, you see? Beautiful, ugly truth. I heard it was the strongest rope in the world. Yeah. So at the end of the day, that's just a tip of the iceberg, because I'd probably need an entire month, which it's so much going on. We need to capsulate these moments and drag it over 30 days. I just decided to do it at a high level for today's episode. But when you talk about that and a rope that could actually hold steady vessels steady pretty much in international waters, made by a lot of our female hands. You talking then about raising a nation. Yes. They healed, they platted, farmed, managed, and they raised us, the next generation. They taught manners, even though it's kind of diluting. They taught respect. They also taught us survival, and they taught faith, including that of resilience. Good evening, caller. You're live on Sabrina Speaks.
Good evening.
Good.
How are you?
I'm fair to fine.
Well, don't ask me how I'm doing because I'm not.
Well,
But can I take your conversation in a slightly different direction?
where do you want to go? We're honoring women today. We're dedicating today's show to honoring women.
Well, I am calling Curse tomorrow
Pardon me?
then. I can call and curse tomorrow then.
Yeah.
Today,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
We want to dedicate this show to our women, as it is the end of the month.
Was it International Women's Day the 7th? The day?
We celebrated an entire month. You need to get to the back of the class. I'm going to give you time out.
Put me in a rocking chair here.
Yeah.
Well, since we're there,
Mhm.
you know, I guess I may as well pay tribute to all of those incredible women. I did get a little snippet of what you were speaking about and how they held on the fort. And, I guess, I mean, like you may have already said, we have a Seamen's Association. We have given a lot of not only contributions and accolades to these men who, went out there, what do you call them? Wooden ships and iron men.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we have far neglected not only in our words, but in our deeds, exactly the role that these women, especially in this society, have played in terms of actually keeping the home, the house, the land, the business,
Mm-hmm.
everything, the entire family together while these men were out there, making a life. And I'm not suggesting that their contributions to the island, to the country, to build this nation have gone unnoticed. I think that they've very much gone unnoticed.
Mm-hmm.
They've been monetarily rewarded, and in other regards with benefits rewarded. But often the women are entirely overlooked for their contributions, or their contributions are somehow undermined.
Mm-hmm.
Undermined or overlooked as not being, well, that's all they had to do.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, some of them were with 6 and 7 children, practically, I guess, parenting alone. I wouldn't call them single parents because they were married, but they were parenting alone for, a good chunk of those children's lives. And
Right.
I think for the part, they were able to do a very good job, raise honest, successful to the end that they could make them successful children.
Right.
Raise them into being very honest, hardworking adults.
I'm quite sure, looking at your resilience and everything that you have endured and enduring right now, there must be a cornerstone, an environment that you were grown up in that gives you this resilience, this strength, the tenacity that has shaped you into who you are today. If you had to look back, go ahead.
I come from an extremely matriarchal family.
Mm-hmm.
The women in my family are an extremely formidable force. I think of the man in charge, who's actually a woman in my family.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Mama. She's my aunt, but she's in charge.
Mm-hmm.
and everybody just know that Mama's in charge.
Okay.
But like I said, I come from an extremely matriarchal family. My family is predominantly women, that's from daughters right down to granddaughters.
Mm-hmm.
And it has always kind of been instilled in us that, we can do it just as good or better. But it's always, I've had my father, in my life, my entire life, still to this day, thank God.
Mm-hmm.
But the women in my family have played an absolutely very, very, very incredible role into shaping who we were. By far and large, the greatest influence that I can say that I have to date. People who know me know how often I speak about my grandmother, God rest her soul, her cooking, her technique, her jokes, but just hearing her stories of what they had to do and how they had to overcome and what they did and how easy we have it. I just stopped to think about how much more difficult things were just for my grandmothers and my grandmother's time. They didn't even have electricity. If you ask these children to go without, if the electricity cuts off for 15 minutes, they are dry heaving in.
What are you talking about? Electricity? No data, no internet. No, you still have electricity. You're just talking about no internet.
If you want to know what it just turn off the Wi-Fi.
Exactly. So
turn off the Wi-Fi.
They can have everything else, but they lose it if they don't have Wi-Fi connectivity.
Yeah, and I think that my story is not unique to me. I think that we are I think that there's a lot of commonality between myself, person's probably a little bit older than me, even maybe younger than me, in terms of the influence, particularly the women have played in our lives. And I've been fortunate enough, not only in my personal life, but in my professional life, to come across some incredible, not just Caymanian women, but I'll speak about them today. Some incredible Caymanian women who I've been, blessed to have my path crossed, and women have been, I would say, one of the single most influential characters in my life today, and still.
Okay, good to know. Well, thank you for sharing that with us, and hope that despite you not going off on a rat and you sticking on topic for us today, that you're feeling better and we can pick up. You're going to put a bookmarker there and you'll share it with us tomorrow, right?
We are on load tomorrow.
All right, my love. Thank you. Take care. Good evening, caller.
Darling.
You're live.
Pick up the women who pick up the women who bigging up the females in their life. I want to big up my grandfather. The man that went to sea.
Right.
Made sure his beautiful wife with 7 children was taken care of, because his demand was he left 2 helpers, take care of his wife in the house. Listen to me good now. He left 2 helpers in the house to make sure the household was taken care of. But my grandmother made sure the children were taken care of. Understand? Yep. When he left everything behind, land and all that behind for his children. And he made sure to tell his children that when his wife got a state that she could not know better to do, they had to make sure that she wasn't going to, old people whom we call today.
Yeah.
Understand?
Right.
So my auntie, big up my auntie. She retired to take care of my grandmother, 101 when she passed away.
Wow.
101. So my auntie retired.
You want to call your aunt's name? Call your aunt's name.
Aunt Emily. Auntie Emily. That's my PD there. My Auntie Emily. But my grandfather laid it out. You understand? So he went to work to take care of the family. And he made sure to tell them and say, okay, I provide everything for you all. But my wife is not, when she gets to that stage, she's not supposed to go into no old people's home. So my Auntie Emily worked at a law firm and all that jobs, and she retired to take care of my grandmother at 101 when she passed away.
Wow.
Okay?
That's foundation setting.
So,
that's succession planning right there. That's succession planning.
Big up to the women. Big up to the women.
Thank you.
Big up to the women.
Hello. Thank you.
That's right.
Give you a kaboom for that, my love.
Hello.
To all of our women. And of course, if you want to pick up some woman in your life or that person that had that that impact on you, of course, share. The phone lines are open, 936-8255, as we continue with the discussion here. And I'll continue doing my best with keeping up with all of the comments that are coming in, as well as I man the phones, and definitely continue with sharing and doing this reflection as we dedicate this episode of Sabrina Speaks today to honoring our women. Richard Parsons says, wow, the rope is the perfect metaphor for the strength of Caymanian women. So right, Richard. Andrew says, Caymanian women were the matriarch of the Cayman Islands. They survived through resilience, persistence, and some difficult times. They had to be frugal with every shilling, pound, and pence. My grandmother, Miss Claire Dean Hides, and many others from West Bay had to sweep people's yards and back beach sand. I'm quite sure we have a lot of those stories, even in the BRAC as well. Denver says, Cayman thatch rope is in a very upscale bar in New York City. Oh, really? Care to share? Shameless plug for that bar. Thank you for sharing that with us. But yes, we know that going back from the political landscape as we continue to develop this space and intertwine it even with those in our public service, private service, and continue to be the backbone of our Cayman Islands, those first light of the people that honor them were the likes of Miss Mary Evelyn Wood. Far too long we say that our children do not know, the younger generation do not know the history. If opportunities like this does not present itself where we actually highlight, speak about it, of course, we only have ourselves to blame. So for some who may not know, or for those who may have heard it before, now I challenge you to make sure you keep repeating this so that our younger men and women as they grow up will continue to do the same. Because if they do not understand the likes of when they're hearing the names, as some of you have mentioned here, those that may not have made it into my research, but definitely for the likes of Mary Evelyn Wood. Yes, 1962. The first woman were ever elected to the Legislative Assembly of the Cayman Islands. Yes, Miss Mary Evelyn Wood is a national hero, a trailblazer, a woman who walked into a male-dominated chamber with her head held high. She had a purpose, and her purpose was clear. Yes, she wasn't just the first. She was the spark. And even though Miss Annie Hilda Bodden, 1965, was not elected, 3 years later came that force of reckoning. Yes, Miss Annie Hilda. Now, how much of you realize that she was not elected? How much thought did she ran and got elected? See, she wasn't elected. She was the first Caymanian woman to qualify as an attorney. A fierce legal mind, a woman who spoke the truth with no apology. And she's known for the infamous silver glasses and those hats. Yes. And when she stood up in the House, people listened. They had to. Yeah. Her voice carried weight. Her voice carried weight. Yes. Weight of justice. So then we hear the name of the Esther Tibbetts, 1976. Yes, of the Sister Islands, a woman who carried Cayman and Little Cayman in her heart. You don't really hear these names too often, you know. And she represented the islands with pride, strength, and deep sense of duty. We're talking history now. Yeah. Way back. And then, of course, Miss Daphne Aurette. She stepped forward, 1984. West Bay's voice, steady and sure. And a woman who understood community and understood service, who understood the responsibility of even leadership. And then, of course, you got the likes of Miss Sybil McLaughlin. Yeah. Now that is a power. Yes, these names like her will be etched into our nation's history. The first Speaker of the House, a national hero, a woman whose grace and intelligence and, commanded, just commanded. So then we have the late Miss Edna Moyle of 1992. Miss Edna Moyle followed, the champion of North Side, a woman who fought for social justice, for community development, and the vulnerable as well. Her legacy is also one of compassion and courage, and she also served as Speaker of the House as well. Then, 1996, Miss Juliana O'Connor Connolly. Yes, making history again. Miss Juliana O'Connor Connolly was the first female premier of the Cayman Islands. It's our history. A woman whose leadership has spanned for decades, and she continues to serve in political office to this day. That's endurance. And to the author that I read at the opening, Miss Lucille Seymour, back in 2005. Miss Lucille Seymour was an educator. She's still an advocate. She's still a guardian for cultural. Yes. And a woman who fought for Cayman's heritage, Cayman's future, very active in sports, and for education as well. Miss Tara Rivers of 2013. Yes. She is an independent barrier breaker as well, and a woman who proved that you don't need a party machine behind you to win. You just need a purpose, integrity, and people's trust. Yes. Yes. I'm getting there. But Melita is saying, let's don't forget our living and beautiful Miss Mary Lawrence. Correct. Yes. And also, we got Miss Barbara Conley of 2017. Miss Barbara, the steady hand for Georgetown, a woman who brought calm, clarity, and commitment to her role. Yes. Thank you for telling us that. Beautiful lies, ugly truth. Miss Edna was also Miss Cayman Islands. Look at there. I think I saw that in one Nor'Wester magazine, something on Facebook. Yes, I did see that. Thank you for sharing that. And then you have the wave of 2021. You have the wave of 2021. 3 women elected in that one cycle. One of them being myself. Yes. Minister, community warrior, and a woman I call myself voice of the people. And I continue. Wow, look at how history has turned. Still a formidable voice. And Miss Catherine Ebanks Wilkes, who rise to become the Speaker of Parliament. And a woman of poise. Miss Heather Bodden as well. The heart and soul of Savannah, and a woman whose service spans decades. And now in 2025, we see Miss Julie Hunter, who stepped into the arena representing a new guard, a new generation, a new chapter in our politics. We also see Miss Perlina Lumsden as well. Yes. So these are the people. And the candidates, who actually put themselves up for political office, like Miss Lucille said in her piece, that may never actually have their pictures posted on the wall of our parliament, but they actually rose and they threw their hands in. And some of them going way back. Did you know that Miss Teresa Pitcairn ran? Our very own founder of CMR, Sandra Catron. Yeah, they ran. Miss Jackie Haynes, Catherine Tyson. These are people all back in the day. And of course, I'm not going to get everyone. But we even look at even in the last race, we had the likes of Shakina from West Bay, Jewel Hides. You had in Easton, you had Delmira, Miss Delmira. And then you had in town, Miss Carmen McField. And of course, Miss Romelia. No, she came up against the leader of the opposition. Now, tell me if that isn't strength. Miss Romelia ran for the first time. Outside of that, the elected member, Joey Hugh, would have been uncontested, but she stepped in. She stepped in. And you got so much other women as well. Miss Ralston, yeah. Miss Shirley, you got Dawn that had run. You got our very own Crystal Gomez. Yeah. These are all women who dared. Donna Bush. Mm-hmm. We got Jiva Richards as well. Ruth Ann Bodden. And Miss Maxine McCoy Moore. All of these women, that's the last election that not necessarily got elected, but they stepped out. They found the courage to run. Yes. And like Miss Melita said, Miss Lucille said, once, twice, sometimes a lot more times, but they don't give up. They do not give up. They continue to do it. Even when the odds appear to be stacked against them, they don't let it deter them because they know that they have a calling. They know. And sometimes as women, oh, we get too emotional and this and that. Oh, go fly a kite. Go fly a kite. But the mere fact that we stepped out and put ourselves in the public's eye speaks louder than anything else anyone could think of. And that deserves the recognition. And at the end of the day, we can go back as far as 2017, where you have women that, like I said, their names may never, ever appear, but they stood out. Miss Sarah Louise Orrit Ebanks, that vibrant voice, that personality, big at the front of government admin building right now. Yes. Mm-hmm. We had Miss Laura Young, who ran as well. We had Miss Karen Thompson, of course, who threw herself in. We had Miss Teresa Elizabeth Bodden, Tessa Bodden, as I think people know her fondly as. And like I said, Miss Sharon Waldstone. Yeah. These are all women who threw themselves into the arena. We had Maxine Bodden as well. Bodden Robinson, who went in and contested a seat. Yeah. So going back that far, we have so much to be proud of. We have so much to be proud of during that time. And like I said, you would not necessarily see these or hear these unless you do shows like this, where you would say, oh, that one ran? Oh, yeah. Who remembered Christina Hislop Ralston? Yeah, they ran. They ran. They may not have been successful, but they put themselves there. And Gianna Williams as well had run back in the day. Miss Debbie Broderick also tossed her hand in there for Northside. You notice how small the numbers are getting? Yeah. This cannot be erased from who we are, from our history. And yes, Natasha Whitelock in 2021. So yes, Whitelock from 2021. So I'm doing my best with trying to cover these as much as possible, right? But at the end of the day, to every woman who ever ran for office in the Cayman Islands, you, my friends, have changed the narrative. You've expanded the space. You've created those doors that have been left open for us, as Miss Lucille so rightly said. We got to keep them open. And you made it easier for the next woman to step forward just because of your courage and our national architecture. And the environment couldn't be better for more women to put themselves up. And, oh yes, Emily Ducou as well. Thank you, Alfred. Yes. C.E. Banks, we should honor all Caymanian women. Yes, and that's what the show is. But the trailblazers, we're honoring every woman today. Trust me, we are. We are. We are going to honor every woman today. But there are some who create the foundation, the bedrock, who don't make or are not scared of male dominance, scared of taking risks. They do it. Because even our corporate titans, I call them, our government architects, we have some really strong women right now. We have a lot of those even in our regulatory services. Just check out our financial industry. Look at the evolution of our economy. When Cayman went from platinum rope under trees to managing trillion-dollar portfolios in glass towers. Yes. Accountants, lawyers, regulators, CEOs, managing directors, compliance officers, auditors, women who stepped into industries that was once told to them, this is not your space. Take a step back. Or 5. Yeah. One of those women come to mind today is Miss Cindy Scotland, the regulatory powerhouse. This is history, whether or not you like it. And when we talk about women shaping Cayman, we must call Cindy Scotland's name. The managing director of Cayman Islands Monetary Authority. And she's a woman who has stood at the helm of Cayman's financial regulatory body for decades. And a woman who commands respects across global financial sectors. That's a powerhouse. A woman who represents stability and integrity and definitely excellence. Yeah, her leadership is not just national, it's international. Call it what you want. It is a fact. And we have had the women who have climbed the ranks of Cayman's offshore law firms as well. Some of the most competitive legal environments in the world. Women who have become partners, women who have become managing directors, who have led teams across continents. We don't say we appreciate you enough, and we don't highlight them enough. Women who shape legislation, like I said, corporate governance and global compliance standards. Yes, they did not just break glass ceilings, my friends. They built new floors above it. Don't you take your eye off the civil service sisterhood either. Yeah, that's real. While Parliament in itself is doing what they have to do and catching up, let's tell the truth. The civil service is also powered by women. We got women chief officers, women deputy chief officers, women directors, women who run ministries and departments and national programs as well. Women who keep the machinery of government moving every single day. Yes. And before I go into the next segment of the show, We must pause to honor those women who are not just part of the civil service, but they're also leading it. And these women sit at the highest executive level of the operational arm of our government. They shape policy. They guide ministries. They influence national direction. That's how key their roles are. And bottom line is, they are the architects behind the scenes. Steady, strategic, unshakable. And allow me to share with you who some of those individuals are that are current, okay? There are 6 women who right now, as of today, that I'm aware of, that I can call, that are in key government roles. Starting with Gloria McPhail-Nixon, JP. Now, she's a chief officer for the Portfolio of Civil Service, known as POCS. And that's one of the largest and the longest serving and most respected leaders in the civil service. Her rank in itself speaks. We got Ms. Tamara Ebanks, who's now Chief Officer of Ministry of Health, Environment, and Sustainability. She too is a key figure in national health policy, environmental strategy, and sustainability initiatives. Yes. We got Ms. Tanya Cacho, who is Chief Officer right now of Ministry of Education and Training, and she took over from the acting Chief Officer, Ms. Lynette Monteith. But Ms. Tanya Cacho right now is in control, and she's also a major force shaping Cayman's education system and workforce development. We got dear Nellie Pucci, who is also a Chief Officer in the Ministry of Social Development and Innovation, and she oversees special programs, community support systems, and national innovation initiatives. We got Ms. Teresa Echeniki, cert on, and she too is a Chief Officer, Ministry of Youth, Sports, Culture, and Heritage. We see her very often in the National Choir. She travels all over the place and she represents our folk songs, and she just gets into it. And, you know, perfectly placed with a chief officer for that ministry as a cultural guardian and leader in youth empowerment and national heritage. And then we have Reshma Sharma. She's also a Solicitor General, Portfolio of Legal Affairs. And while her title is Solicitor General, she's listed as a chief officer level within the senior structure. These are key persons right now that are running the operational arm of our government in females in their respective roles. And you couldn't just deal with it from the political standpoint. I had to look at the operational arm of government and highlight those women as of today that serve in their roles. Now, please make no mistakes. There are other departments and statutory authorities as well that have women at the helm, but time does not permit me to break that down. But there is a new era of business women as well. And we're having entrepreneurs, the women who said, I'm not waiting for a seat at the table, but I'm going to build my own empire. And they have done it with dignity and grace, probably many nights without sleep and tears. Women who open restaurants, salons, boutiques, consultancy firms, wellness centers, shipping agencies, media companies, and everything in between. Women who turned their passion into profits and continues to play a critical role in our society today. Yes, women who turn ideas into industries. And 2 women come to the forefront of my mind, actually 3. Miracle Brokers, Irma Arch. Yes, in the shipping and relocation business. I wish she would get the nerve one day to just be able to do a biography, a video, to let you know the strength and resilience that woman has had. IMP also comes to mind. Miss Parchment, taking up the reins after working side by side with her late husband. And our very own Sandra Hill, who started off, and look at where she is right now. Ceilings, walls, this woman has created a whole different space. It is what it is. Call it for what it is. Miss Sharon, a reliable as well. In that space, that dominant space of reliable industries and what she's doing out there. These are just some of the women that, you know, no matter what, they are there. And they all have a unique story, but they just keep at it. These are our Caymanian women. Yes. Look at Miss Carita. Carita's copper kettle. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Remember Lada's Beauty Salon? Miss Nettie from Elgin Avenue. Beauty salon on Sundays. We're the place to be. Mm-hmm. That's what we're talking about. Yeah. And look at Darla, who's still making, she's found her passion of Eclipse, owner of Eclipse. Yes, these are women who turned their passion and continue to contribute to our society. Lynn Bodden, who stepped out and she's running a boutique style hotel. OMG. Look at that. Yes, these are women who just like, I'm going to go for it. I'm going to go for it. And they are us. Yes. Law firms contributing to society. It is what it is. And this is why we have to get back to Melita, you something else, you know. I want Ms. Irma to link us up with Amazon. Mm-hmm. You know, at the end of the day, these are women who are just, who did it, who continues to do it, and just keep plowing on. Richard says, Miss Sabrina, today is the birthday of Miss Jenny Anderson. Oh, she worked her career in civil service and she retired. She has been a commissioner over Cayman Brac and Little Cayman simultaneously. Happy birthday to you, Miss Jenny Anderson, on your special date. Richard, thank you for sharing that with us. Yes. Mm-hmm. Happy birthday. Many, many more to you. From all of us here on the Sabrina Speaks family, and big up to Richard for definitely putting you on the radar. Jenny Manderson, that's Mr. Manderson's wife, mum, sorry, Mr. Manderson's mummy, Paula and Mr. France Manderson's mummy. Happy birthday, Miss Jenny. Yes, Manderson, on your special day from all of us here on Sabrina Speaks. I want to wish you all and many, many more to you. From all of us here on this platform. And she was also one of those big permanent secretaries back in the day as well. So she too are one of the trailblazers now that we're talking about civil servants. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So at the end of the day, from business straight down to where we are today, at the end of the day, anything that we look at in our society, the fabric is there. And as we honor our women and highlight them today, many of whom names may not have been called. And it wasn't because of, it wasn't deliberate. That should tell you how much women is in our society. And we need more roundtable talks, togetherness to reminisce. And some may choose to remain in the shadows, but still very active in private, giving advice, a gentle nudge. Yes, that's fine. Let them know that they still matter. Let them know that they still are a part of who we are. And one thing you cannot change is history. You may not, I'm going to go here. You may not like the individual, but history is history. It's facts. when we start getting emotions to distort our realities and facts, that's when we create a space for someone else to come in and change our history, remove emotions, and stick to the facts. Respect is due, no matter what. And bottom line, when it comes to business, entrepreneurship, serving in parliament, serving in our legislative assembly, holding it down in your own business, we all know that business progress is not a straight line. And our Cayman business landscape has its own challenges and growing pains as well. Don't think gender bias isn't in there. There are gender biases in hiring to unequal pay. It still is very much alive here, and limited access as well to leadership roles. But at the end of the day, women still push through no matter what. Women demand better. They continue to demand better. And at the end, they've proven their worth again and again, no matter what. So today, for all of those women in business, I must say, Cayman's business sector is stronger, yes, because women are evenly placed. It is the fact. Some may sit behind a desk or in a small office. Some may actually run a classroom. Some may manage members of 5, maybe 100, some 50. These women are the quiet builders at the end of the day. And they are just as important as the big CEOs. And because we speak about nation building, that is not only done in Parliament or in the financial district, it's done in every space, every office, every shop, every school, every mom and pop kitchen, and every community. Yes. We cannot take that away from exactly being who we are as a people. But let me tell you something. The unfinished work, because we have to really, really look at the fact that, the challenges of 2026, because there's still work left to do. And the courage to keep going is there. That has to be there. When we look at recognizing and acknowledging and paying tribute and celebrating the past, we've honored the pioneers and we've lifted up the women who has built this nation. But if we're going to tell the truth, which this space is always about telling the truth, then we must talk about the unfinished work that is still needing. Because even in 2026, we are seeing where women are still facing challenges that cannot be ignored. We're still seeing them being dismissed or even sugarcoated. Yeah. When you look at some of the numbers now, and I'm all about giving you some stats. When you look at the United Nations Data Hub, it continues to show that across the world, and yes, even here in Cayman, in many cases, for the most part, women earn less than men on an average. Yes. Not because they work less, not because they are less qualified, but because the system wasn't built with them in mind. And I have shared the story here with you many a times, having been into elected office, and the difference in matching or competing with the gentleman at the table who says we're all going to come in a unified force and we're going to wear purple ties today or yellow ties next week. And you as a female got to then, it's not just a tie, Sometimes we got to go look for an entire outfit. They can change a tie. And again, even if we have a purple tie or a yellow outfit, if you're cognizant, you'd be like, when was the last time I wore that? Because you know the comments are going to come rolling. Yeah. And in certain roles, it appears as though we're more critical of how our women put ourselves together. Whether you mean to harm the individual at the time or you just making a comment, we're still very critical of women. And at the end of the day, that's where the support is needed. Because even with care, there is an invisible burden that is there, that's lurking. And that invisible labor that still comes and is tagged with women, it's not an excuse. It's just a fact. And what I'm talking about is the work that keeps families functioning, communities stable as well, and the society moving forward. Who takes care of the children? Who takes care of the elderly? Who takes care of the home? Who takes care of the emotional well-being of the family? We're just genetically coded differently. Most times, call it for what it is. It's the women. And that labor is unpaid. It's uncounted. It's unseen. But without it, the fact is, Cayman would collapse. It is what it is. We have to own up to the facts. We're just different. God created us differently. Whoever you believe in, however we became into existence, women were created differently. Yeah. Because to this day, we have unmarried women that are still fighting for rights, for pensions. Yeah. There's certain things with pensions and how, God forbid, if you pass on and all of that sort of stuff. I'm going to dedicate a show for that to let you know where we're coming back, even with the pensions. Yeah. When women really take time off to raise children and care for even our aging parents, as Melita shared with us, or work part-time to support their household, their pension contributions suffer. So by the time of retirement, when that comes, many women have less saved, not because they were irresponsible. This is just generally speaking now, but because they were the responsible ones. And they were responsible for everyone else. Yes. Now this, my friends, is the quiet crisis nobody wants to talk about, and it's a fact. Because it is. Yes. That part, I'm going to do a show on to let you know the imbalances. If I forget, please remind me. When it comes to even having that seat at the table, yes. At the end of the day, I'm hoping that more women will be inspired and encouraged to actually take that bold step. Because I want you to hear me good. Equality is not the same as equity. Equality is not the same as equity. Equality says you can sit at the table. Equity says you can speak. You can influence. You can lead. And your voice carries weight. That's the difference. And women don't just need a seat. They need power to go along with it. And they need that with respect. They need the influence. They need safety. But most of all, they need the opportunity. And they deserve all of it. And sometimes, as a small island developing states, we are a little slow to catch up to speed, but it isn't impossible. People talk about glass ceilings all the time, but in 2026, women are facing glass walls too. Yes, walls that block promotions, it's real. Walls that still limit leadership roles, and even walls that questions competence. I can hold my hand up loud for that. Yeah. Walls that silence voices they try. Oh no. And even walls that punish ambition. And these walls may be invisible, but women feel them every single day. So, let's be honest. This is just facts. Women are still facing gender-biased violence. They're still facing harassment in the workplace. They're still facing online abuse, double standards, judgment of being too strong or too soft, and criticism for being ambitious or not even ambitious enough. Oh, she couldn't have got that unless she was with this one. She couldn't have got that unless she slept with that one. Really? Small-mindedness. Bottom line, women are still walking a tightrope that men don't even see. And even with these challenges, we continue to rise. We continue to lead. We continue to innovate. We continue to make something out of nothing. And with that, we continue to break barriers. Women continue to build. And we will not stop speaking. And women continue to stand. Because Caymanian women, Caribbean women, women as a whole are made of just something different, something strong, something unshakable. Yes. Andrew says, I will say this, women are much stronger than men, strong leaders and strategic planners as they realize more what is necessary of raising a family and a community. I just want to leave as we reach this final stretch of this episode. The last segment, the last chapter that closes out this Honoring Women's Month of 2026. In our journey that I hope brought back some memories. Said, oh my God, I didn't even know that one. Oh Lord, yeah. And I want us all to just breathe with me for a moment. And because this part is a little scary. When you look at how we've walked through history and we've honored our foremothers, we've lifted up our pioneers, we've celebrated leaders, healers, builders, fighters, visionaries, even those who are no longer with us. The midwives who delivered generations, Miss Kippy, remember Miss Glida, teachers, Miss Glida Forbes, and so many other teachers. Miss Shirley Kidd, Miss Levy, used to be principal of Sir John A. Camper Primary School. Yeah. To the nurses that held our hands, to the mothers who sacrificed everything and continue to do so today. Yes. To the aunties who raised whole families, to the women whose names never made newspapers, but whose impact is still felt in every corner of these islands today. We honor you. We thank you, and we remember you. And let us take a moment of silence to remember who paved the way. May their legacy live in us. Now, hear me good. Caymanian women are not asking for permission. Caymanian women are not waiting for validation. Caymanian women are not shrinking themselves to fit into spaces that were never designed for them either. We, my friends, are expanding the room. You see it every time you log on to the CMR TV platform. Remember Joyanne Rollins? Yeah. We're building new tables. We are raising new leaders and we're shaping new futures. Because when women rise, nation rise. So if we want true progress, not performative progress, not pretty on paper progress, then women must support women. Not compete, not tear down, not whisper behind backs, not judge each other's choices. We must lift, support, encourage, and celebrate. Buy from one female-owned business, support them. Mentor young ladies. Vote for vision, not gender. Stand up when you see injustice. Speak up when you see inequality. And hold space for each other, because the truth is simple. When women support women, everyone wins. And I want every woman listening tonight, young, old, Caymanian, expat, mother, daughter, student, professional, to hear this clearly. You belong in every room. You deserve every opportunity, and your voice matters. Your dream matters. Your presence matters. And you have a place at every table, not as a decoration, not as a token, but as an equal. And the Cayman Islands cannot reach its full potential without full participation of its women. So as I close this Honoring Women's Month 2026, I leave you all with this evening. We are not just a part of the story. We are the authors. We are not just shaping the nation. We are the architecture. We are not just holding space. We are expanding it. We are not just surviving. We are leading. And we will continue to rise, continue to build, continue to speak, continue to stand until equality is not a dream, but a lived reality. It has been my pleasure bringing you another episode of Sabrina Speaks. And tonight, I thank you all for your contribution. I thank you all for your participation, your commentary, and even sharing memes. This, my friends, is the opportunity and the space in Sabrina Speaks where we showed and we've honored the women who built us, the women who raised us, the women who shaped us, and the women who continue to carry us as a nation and continue to take us forward. Because at the end of the day, we are the architects of our own destiny. Yeah. So, as I bid you farewell for this evening, God bless. Be safe. Love you lots. And I'll see you all in April.
That's a wrap for today's edition of Sabrina Speaks. Thank you for tuning in and for being part of the conversation. Remember, the dialogue doesn't stop here. Stay engaged, stay informed, and most importantly, stay empowered. We'll be back tomorrow at 5 p.m., same time, same place, right here on CMR TV and radio, where your voice matters and your truth is heard. Until then, Cayman, take care of yourself and each other.
That's it for today's edition of Sabrina Speaks, where your voice matters, your story counts, and your truth is always welcome. Join us weekdays from 5 until 6:30 p.m. right here on CMR TV as we dive into the topics that matter most to you. Catch the show live or on demand at cmrtv.com. And don't forget to follow us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram so you never miss a moment. Until next time, stay informed, stay engaged, and always speak your truth.